Good, happy Tuesday evening. It's Tuesday, February 15, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's get started right now. First up, Sandy Hook families reach historic 73 settlement with gunmaker. Let's take a listen to that video from News Nation now.
Settlement today for the first time, a U.S. massacre reaching a $73 million settlement. With settlement today for the first time, a U.S. gun manufacturer held liable for a mass shooting. The families of 9 of the victims in the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre reaching a $73 million settlement with Remington Arms. That's the company that made the gun used in the killings. Correspondent Tom Negevin is live for us in New York. So what is the gun maker saying about this, Tom?
Well, you know, a statement just released to us in about the last hour, Nicole, by a spokesperson for Remington, reminding us, pointing out, reiterating the company effectively no longer exists. It's gone bankrupt. Its assets auctioned off. This settlement agreed to by its insurance companies, 4 of them. But this amount, $73 million, was the largest they could possibly have paid.
When you experience something like somebody being told they're getting a certain amount of money, a lot of money, and having that hurt. These families, they would pay everything, they give it all back just for 1 minute. That would be true justice.
It was an unimaginable tragedy. December 14th, 2012, in Newtown, Connecticut. 20 first graders and 6 teachers massacred at Sandy Hook Elementary. The 20-year-old gunman armed with an AR-15 style rifle, a Bushmaster XM-15 E2S, made by Remington. The Sandy Hook families and a survivor sued, saying the company should never have sold such a dangerous weapon to the public.
This case was never about damages in the sense of compensation. It was about damages in the sense of forcing change.
It's the first time a gun manufacturer has faced liability in a U.S. mass shooting. Lawyers for the families made that happen by going around a law protecting gun makers from litigation, arguing that Remington violated state consumer law by marketing the gun in a way that appealed to troubled young men, like the Sandy Hook killer. Gun control advocates say it should send a message to the entire industry.
And we need to have gun manufacturers internalize the societal risks that their marketing and sales create, because we're all paying the price.
So a $73 million settlement and a lot more to come on this, Nicole, because thousands of Remington internal documents were obtained by the plaintiffs during this lawsuit. Because of their victory, they can now make those public and say they will. No timeline for doing that, though, not yet at least. Nicole?
Yeah, certainly a lot more to come on this. A very big deal today. All right, Tom, thank you. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Be prepared to mask up on planes through mid-March. Let's take a listen to that video from News Nation.
Choosing time for all of us in the pandemic, hundreds of thousands of Americans still being infected, but states across the country are ditching those mask mandates as overall infection numbers go down. And just today, Disney World announcing face coverings will be optional for vaccinated guests, but when it comes to flying, masks are still required. Washington correspondent Evan Lambert is live for us at Reagan National Airport. So, Evan, people heading to the airport should not plan to ditch those masks anytime soon.
Yeah, Nicole, despite what the states are doing, the federal government sticking to its plan for transportation. So that means these masks will have to stay on for at least another month. While several states, many headed by Democrats, have removed or announced soon-to-come changes to sweeping indoor mask mandates, that does not apply to transportation regulated by the federal government. It means masks will still be required when you're riding buses, trains, and planes, all covered by a White House executive order requiring masks on public transportation. In a statement to News Nation, the TSA told us Tuesday the mandate, quote, is currently in effect until March 18th. But it conflicts with state laws in most of America. Only a handful of states still require masks indoors: Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, New Mexico, Illinois, and D.C. Airlines have pushed back for months. Before the height of the Omicron surge, airline CEOs testified before a Senate committee suggesting masks on planes don't do much.
I think the case is very strong that masks don't add much, if anything, in the air cabin environment. It's very safe and very high quality compared to any other indoor setting.
Some public health officials argue hospitalizations are a better metric than transmission rates. CDC data show 96.5% of the country still meets the standard of high transmission based on case rates. The CDC director saying last week, despite hospitalizations dropping dramatically from record highs, they haven't fallen enough.
Our hospitalizations are still high. Our death rates are still high. So as we work towards that and as we are encouraged by the current trends, we are not there yet.
And we reached out to the CDC today to find out if they planned on changing their masking recommendations anytime soon. They did not respond to us. The TSA could not tell us if they plan on extending the mask mandate for transportation past March 18th. Nicole?
All right, well, sticking with the flying subject here, Evan, there's some news today from flight attendants on those surging incidents of unruly passengers.
Yeah, Nicole, the Association of Flight Attendants is calling for a national no-fly list for those passengers who are convicted of unruly incidents aboard aircraft. Now, this is something that Delta's CEO also recently requested of the Department of Justice. So far, 8 Republican senators wrote a letter to the Attorney General saying that they would not support such a no-fly list. Yesterday, I reached out to DOJ to find out what the status of that was. They did not respond to us. We'll keep asking. Nicole?
Yeah, that video we saw playing next to you, always just so unbelievable. Evan, thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Is Vladimir Putin the richest man alive? Let's take a listen to that video from News Nation.
Russian President Vladimir Putin's wealth is a difficult puzzle to solve. He's made declarations in the past about what assets he owns. However, critics say that's just the tip of the iceberg, that Putin is in fact one of the richest men in the world. Putin and the Kremlin have repeatedly denied those allegations, in particular those from jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny, who alleged in one investigation that a luxurious palace and estate in southern Russia had been built for Putin himself. Allies of Navalny published hundreds of photos of what they say is the secret palace, complete with towering ceilings, ornate interiors, lavish amenities, a casino, theater, and room for pole dancing. A Kremlin spokesperson denying the allegations. Theories of how Putin makes his money have ranged from the Russian president exploiting businesses, friends, and government allies, to Putin not having a large bank account, rather pretending for an image of power.
And an expert we spoke with says because of the nature of Russian society, getting an accurate picture of Putin's wealth is extremely difficult, noting that the rule in Russia, officially speaking, is that he's not allowed to have any bank accounts or assets overseas. Nicole, thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Prince Andrew sex abuse lawsuit settled with Virginia. Let's take a listen to that video from News Nation.
In a royal twist, Britain's Prince Andrew has settled a sex trafficking lawsuit filed by a woman who alleges she was victimized when she was just 17 years old. Virginia Giuffre filed a lawsuit accusing 61-year-old Prince Andrew of sexually abusing her. Giuffre's attorneys say she met the prince when she was, quote, on call for sexual purposes and, quote, lent out to other powerful men by notorious U.S. financier Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew has denied Giuffre's allegations, saying he could not recall ever meeting her. Today, Giuffre's attorney informed a New York judge that an undisclosed settlement had been reached, and lawyers on both sides will request a dismissal. Court documents read in part, quote, Prince Andrew acknowledged that Epstein trafficked countless young girls over many years and said the prince regrets his association with Epstein. Meantime, the disgraced prince has been stripped of his honorary military titles. This is the latest in the ongoing sex trafficking cases tied to 66-year-old Jeffrey Epstein, who died by suicide 2 years ago in a Manhattan jail while awaiting trial on child sex trafficking charges. His longtime companion, Ghislaine Maxwell, was convicted of related charges last month. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. And the New York Times is getting backlash over Wordle. Let's take a listen to that video from News Nation.
A word to the wise. Don't mess with people's Wordle. The new game craze taking pandemic wordies by storm, but the latest move by the game's new owner has some players changing their tune about this viral game. News Nation correspondent Marky Martin joins us live. Marky, people love this game. And this isn't 5 letters, but backlash is maybe the latest word for the New York Times.
Oh, and Nicole, it is swift. There's this whole love-hate relationship around this game. If you're like me, if you're a word nerd, this game has taken you by storm. And just a quick briefer for those who haven't hopped on this bandwagon yet, this is a daily word game. You get 6 chances to guess the 5-letter word, and every day the word of the day is the same for all players across the globe. So it's really been almost like the great unifier of 2022, right? People discussing strategy. There's this unspoken agreement not to spoil the day's Wordle for everybody else. But as you mentioned, at the end of last month, the New York Times bought this game for an undisclosed 7-figure amount. And since doing so, so many players have really noticed and started complaining that the words have become tougher and tougher to guess. And we thought, hey, what the heck? It's a beautiful day here in Dallas. We'll go hit the streets and see what people think for themselves.
It kind of takes the fun out of it, just because I don't know how much longer I'll play it if the words are getting this much harder. You know, like before it was kind of like, okay, it's like a minute to 5 minute game. Me and my roommates, we do a weekly competition. Whoever has the worst score at the end of the week has to buy a case of beer for the house. So we have fun with it.
Yeah, that guy also said, I'm pretty sure pretty soon I'm going to be speaking like I've been in school for 30 years. They're saying these words have just become outrageous. New York Times has come out and said that gameplay has not changed since they've taken over, but Twitter doesn't agree. And Nicole, I wanted to share some of the best ones we saw for you. Jolie says the NYT Wordle is so much harder. Let me have my fun mornings again. Katie tweeted, NYT Wordle feels like doing a crossword without the clues. And then John says, this was my favorite one. Today's Wordle is KHYBX, which everyone knows is a popular 11th century Latin delicacy derived from quicksand extract. Duh. Yeah, people just wanting to know where these words in the past couple of weeks are coming from. And Nicole, lastly, I took a poll just on my personal Twitter today. 60% said it's harder for sure. 1% said it's easier. And then 39% noticed absolutely no difference.
All right.
Nicole, are you playing?
I am playing, Mark. I actually love this game, but I only got on board maybe a few weeks ago, so I feel like I can't really give, I don't know what it was like before. This is all I know. I only know this way.
Sure.
There's a lot of Twitter talk today, maybe about 2 different answers for today's game. What's this one about?
Yeah, so people are confused. If you scroll through Twitter, everyone's saying, hey, I had one Wordle, my friend or my partner had another Wordle. So based off our research and just scrolling, it seems like there's still some things that maybe the New York Times needs to iron out. Some people still playing on that original website, some people playing on the New York Times platform. So I think we're getting a couple different words of the day there. The Times also coming out saying they're trying hard to take out any words that are obscure or even offensive just so it becomes more accessible. So some people are saying, hey, it's double the fun for right now while they figure things out. And other people, Nicole, are actually pretty upset about it.
Wow. I will say that I've gotten them every time I've played. I'm not bragging. But all right. Nice. Marquise, thank you so much. Great story. All right, coming up on Rush Hour, thank you for watching. Click the...
Okay, and that does it for this edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.